Hey audio nerds, today we're taking a look at our first IEM of 2023, and thankfully it's a good one, namely the Truthear HEXA. Truthear are relatively new players in the Chi-Fi game, having released their first set, the Truthear Zero, which is a collaboration with the Critical only just last year. So the HEXA are the second release, and they've been out for a few weeks. So first of all, many thanks to Shenzhen Audio for sending me my review unit. I've been using them solidly for a couple of weeks now, and I have to say, usual disclaimers apply. I've not been paid for this review. Shenzhen or Truthear haven't seen the video before you, so these truly are my independent thoughts. Having said all that, I really like these Hexas, and in fact I think they're my new recommendation at around the $100 price point. In fact, you're going to save yourself some money because these come in just under at $89, and at that price the HEXA represents phenomenal value. The design is understated and classy in my opinion. As ever, I'll ignore the waifu adorned box as it does absolutely nothing for me. Thankfully, the IEMs themselves look great. We get slightly translucent black resin shells and 3D printed matte black faceplates. When I first posted pics of these to the Discord server, one of my regular chums on the server thought that I had actually got the Kilo Buck Symphonium Helios IEMs. That would have been magnificent, but sadly not. But these certainly do bear a striking resemblance to the Helios, even down to the slightly bulky shape with a wide nozzle. And that seems to be Truthear's favoured style. We got that on the Truthear Zero as well. Nevertheless, the Hexas are really very comfortable, much more comfortable than the fatter Truthear Zero, and I can wear them for ages without any discomfort, and they provide really good noise isolation, sound isolation as well. The cable is a standard 2-pin 0.78mm one, although it's probably the most disappointing element of the whole package. It's a really thin cable and it's prone to twisting and tangling, and it gets really irritating microphonics every time it rubs against your clothes, for example. You also, in the box, get some silicone and foamy ear tips and a pretty useless leatherette case which will do absolutely nothing to protect your IEMs. It's basically just a bit of leatherette folded over with a couple of buttons on it and is a little bit pointless. So I was expecting the HEXA to have 6 drivers, but no, the name actually relates to the shape of the IEMs. What we actually get here is 1 dynamic driver for the bass frequencies and 3 balanced armature BA drivers, which makes it a hybrid design. Now I worry sometimes that these cheaper hybrids fall flat due to the horrible timbre of the cheap BA drivers and very poor integration of the dynamic driver and balanced armature drivers. Thankfully, that's not what we get here at all. So coming on to the sound, I've only got one gripe with these at this price point, and that is that it has quite a narrow sound stage. Compared to some similarly priced IEMs, the HEXA sounds very closed in and intimate, if you like. So if you like scale and orchestral grandeur and an out-of-head listening experience, these are probably not for you. However, in terms of the other technicalities, the HEXA does very well indeed. So we get very nice separation and imaging, so it's so easy to pinpoint elements in a mix, and vocals in particular occupy a very nicely defined central space in the mix. The other thing which is particularly notable is the excellent timbre. There's no metallic tint to the upper mids at all. Everything sounds very natural and perhaps organic. Macrodynamics are good, making the quiet, loud transition of Smashing Pumpkins' excellent Soma, for example, feel really impactful and visceral. Detail retrieval's good, but the HEXA definitely smooths over the fine details rather than presenting you with pin-sharp definition. So this does make for a very pleasant, smooth listen, but if you're a detail freak, you probably ought to look elsewhere. Looking at the frequency response, we get what I would describe as a fairly neutral tuning with extra sub-bass and a slightly tame treble. Again, it makes for a very pleasant and engaging listen. The sub-bass is nicely textured and fast, but what you don't get is too much mid-bass, and this can lead to some tracks, particularly EDM tracks, which rely on the impact of that mid bass feeling just a little bit anemic. But it also, on the positive side, means that the bass remains tight and well defined, and none of the bass bleeds into the mid-range, making the mid-range sound very neutral. Now, some people might prefer just a little bit of warmth and a slightly thicker edge to the lower mids, because they can occasionally sound just that little bit thin. But I quite like how it is here on the Hexas. Now, the upper mids are very nicely done. They're never shouty, and I couldn't detect any sibilance. Combined with a natural timbre, this is a nicely mid-focused set of IEMs, particularly for those that enjoy acoustic music and vocals. The treble's non-fatiguing, and I think it perhaps could just benefit from a little bit of spice in the upper treble region. That might open up the soundstage as well, albeit artificially. But look, I'm nitpicking. On the whole, I think that this is some of the best neutral tuning that I've heard in a set of budget IEMs. Now, coming back to that term neutral does not mean boring. People often think it does. But if you're a fan of V-shaped signatures, or even the Harman Target, you might find these not to your taste. In terms of driving these, the Apple dongle will of course work fine, but they certainly benefit from the extra juice that a DAP or a dongle DAC, such as the excellent Q-Style M15, can provide. Truthear themselves, in fact, have recently released a little dongle DAC, which we'll look at very soon, but spoiler alert, I don't think it pairs very well with the Hexa. So for $89, you can't really go wrong with the Hexa. I do prefer them to my previous $100 faves, the Moondrop Starfield. I like the slightly leaner mid-range, the better detail retrieval, and the excellent imaging that we get on the Hexa. So I'm absolutely delighted to award the Hexa the first Audio Fixation Silver Award of 2023. Great work, Truthear. I'm looking forward to more releases from them this year. Now, you might ask, if you liked it so much, if it's your new favourite, why not the Gold Award? Well, I don't think these are perfect, and certainly if we had a better cable and a sturdier case for $100, I think they'd be well into gold territory. But as it is, solid silver, and I've really enjoyed using them. They're probably going to become my everyday carry IEMs for the time being. So thanks for watching, guys. As ever, let me know what you think in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, do give me a thumbs up, and if you enjoy my content in general, go check out the other videos. Then a subscription to the channel really helps me out. So until next time, take care, stay safe, and keep listening to all that fabulous new music coming your way.